So it was funny because since it's the new year, I decided to go back and find my first social media post of 2024. And when I found it, I had actually written the goals that I had. It was wild to me because I accomplished 5 out of the 6 goals that I had set, and I had accomplished them without even remembering that I had made these goals. Right off the bat, 2024 had a pretty rough start for us. I wanted to share with everyone that we had to put our Mr. Yoshi pony down. That was just a really hard way to start the new year. It was really hard for me personally because I had never lost anyone close to me really at that point, and it's hard when you are putting time and energy and effort into like rehabbing a horse, but they're not getting better and they're just getting worse, and you have to watch them decline. So that was probably the hardest part of that whole situation. So I set these goals to kind of give me a fresh start for the new year. 2024 is the year that Colin and I really got into trail riding, and we kind of stumbled upon this because I love riding and I usually ride by myself. Colin had gotten an e-bike and so we started to go out and ride together on the trails, and we just had a blast. It was something that we could do together and we had a lot of fun with it. And so we started doing that a lot. We kept making YouTube videos, and I think I made some of the funniest videos that I've ever made was in 2024. Coming down now to tack up. Okay. What? Oh my gosh. I wonder what kind of tree this is. Looks like a weed.
Will you marry me?
Colin! Yes, of course I will. Oh my gosh, I can ride down the aisle on a horse. And I can use horseshoes to decorate everything.
Okay, give it back.
Nice and fluffy. That way you can pick through it better. There you go. Oh wow, that looks yummy. It's snowing. No, I didn't know it was gonna snow. The horses don't have their blankets on. Should I go put them on? They're probably wet. I'll just go put them on.
Oh, snow.
And looking back, my ultimate favorite video was the video we did with Conestoga Manure Spreaders, where we went out and we competed in Farm Wars.
Well, we have a series of challenges, maybe a race, some manure spreading. We're gonna throw some watermelons through. I mean, we have quite a few things kind of lined up.
We had an absolute blast filming that video. So shout out to them and be sure to go check them out at the link in the description. We did a lot of fun videos with a lot of fun people. So I got my mom and my brother involved to test out their horseback riding skills.
So look past the poles.
Look past. All right, give a little squeeze. He's not gonna jump.
Whoa!
Good job, Mom.
I did it.
I'm gonna just lead you because. Are you good?
I was gonna wire.
Oh, young bro's holding his reins right already.
I know how to hold the reins.
Put your legs under you more. They're sticking out. Right? Okay.
What was that?
What happened?
I think he heard you yelling.
If there was one goal that I set and I was purposeful about completing it and I actually remembered it, it was schooling cross country. That is something I've always wanted to do, and I haven't been able to do it a whole lot. Even though I've always considered myself an event rider, I had never ridden cross country. So we took Tucker out to kind of a local cross country school, and it was so much fun. It reminded me about how mentally challenging horseback riding can be, just because there was a lot of obstacles we had to overcome and that I personally had to overcome because I was afraid of them. But in order for Tucker to be willing to go over them, I had to get over that fear. So that was a great experience for me, and I'm so glad we got to do that. So from the get-go with any young horse, of course, working with that horse is going to be on your goals for the year. So I started working with Ruach. I worked on just basic groundwork with him because when we got him, he didn't know a whole lot and he hadn't been handled a whole lot. So the biggest hurdle we had to overcome was handling his feet. He has some massive feet, and so he initially did not want to pick them up, but as we worked on it, he's become more willing, and now it's to the point where I even trim his feet myself, so I could say that we've come a long way in that regard. He learned basic groundwork, he learned how to get a surf single put on him and get objects put on him. He learned how to lunge and do a bunch of different stuff. I think it's funny that my goal was to start ponying him on the trails and hand walking him on the trails, and now we have literally ridden across the country and he has gotten to experience all of that, and he's gotten to pony on some really challenging, difficult trails and just prove what a great horse he already is. For all of those wondering about my training techniques when working with Ruach and bringing him along, I have online courses that walk through some really essential groundwork exercises that I use starting any young horse, and so be sure to check that out. The link is in the description and it's at shop.equinehelper.com. We set out to ride 200 miles for the year, but as we continued to ride, we realized that we just love trail riding so much, especially when Colin and I could do it together. He would ride his bike, I'd ride the horses. And so we started looking for ways to incorporate it more into our lifestyle. We were going out at least once or twice a week to just go and trail ride. It was always something we looked forward to. I just turned 27 this year, and this last year I feel like I've more so started to feel the pressure of growing up a little bit in terms of I've gone back to school and I'm trying to get my degree, and then we also want to start a family at some point, and we see that in the near future. So we kind of realized this was our one big moment before our attention would be arrested for the next few decades, and we wanted to do something big. Welcome to the first video of the Equine Helper Joiners account. We are so happy to have you here, and once again, we greatly appreciate your support. To start off with, I thought I would share some life-changing information before it hits the main channel. I'll share it here first. So this information will go out on Friday on the main channel, but you are getting the sneak peek first version. So you may be wondering why I'm sitting in an empty room. And the reason for this is because we are selling our house and we are closing on it in about 2 weeks. And you may be wondering why. And the answer to that question is we have decided to buy a horse trailer with living quarters and a truck and travel across America and just experience America and hit all types of different trails and see the country and just have an adventure. Colin and I are adventurous at heart, I'd like to say. We both love to travel, love to experience new things, and so we set out to do kind of like our last big adventure for this period of our lives. We started trail riding across the country, and I've gotten to experience some of my favorite trail rides so far. I absolutely love trail riding in West Virginia. They had the Greenbrier River Trail, and we were able to ride into town and get lunch. That's probably the top ride I've done so far. I also loved riding near the Green Bank Observatory and seeing these giant satellites. If I could pick one place we've gone so far and say these are the best trails to ride, everyone should go and ride these trails, I would say Otter Creek in New York has some of the best trails you could ride on horseback. We went from trail riding once or twice a week to now trail riding just about every day. And so we have well surpassed 200 miles of trails this year. We've probably gone so far, I couldn't even tell you how many miles we've gone. But we have traveled up and down the East Coast 6,000 miles. And we still have many more miles to go out west. The trail riding road trip I wanted to take became a reality, and I have now been on that road trip for the last 3 months. And I've been horse camping every single night, so I kind of knocked out 2 goals in one there. And if there was one word I would designate for 2024, it would be development. Through everything that has happened this year, I have really had to develop myself and just grow personally. Like dealing with the death of Yoshi, I feel like I learned something about grieving that I didn't know before, and I gained empathy and compassion and understanding from that. I did some things that I would otherwise be scared of trying to do. Like I sold our house for sale by owner, which was a massive undertaking, and I just had to be super organized in all of it. And I had to do a lot of research, but I made it happen. I took on training the horses to live on the road, which was a huge undertaking because you don't know if your horse is cut out for that, and you don't know if you're cut out for that. And so I did my best to prep and prepare them, and I'd say luckily I think it's gone okay. Like they have adapted very well to the lifestyle, but that to me was a bit overwhelming. In terms of traveling full-time with horses across the country, there has been a lot of hard moments, and if there's one way I have developed, it is I have learned to more so just go with the flow. At the beginning of our trip, things would happen, and these things would be so stressful and overwhelming. I would just get so emotional and freaked out by it. But now, just because so much has happened, I feel like if a crisis occurs, I'm more so apt to just sit back and be like, okay, well, we can solve this, and come at it more so from a problem-solving mentality rather than a freak-out mentality. As 2024 comes to a close, I am grateful for everything this year has taught me. Life can change in an instant, and life can be totally different a year from now, which is the biggest thing I've also grasped this year, is like so much can change in so little time. And if you're willing to do that thing you never thought you could, or start moving in a direction that you want to go in but you may be scared of, give it 365 days and see where you are. Like, just take that first step. I'd also love to hear about your 2024 and some of your goals for 2025, so be sure to comment down below and let me know. And thank you all so much for your support. This has been a crazy year for Equine Helper, and we couldn't have done it without you.